My world came crashing down the day I found out my wife was cheating. And not just with anyone, but with our son's high school teacher. It started with a gut feeling. She was always on her phone, smiling at texts, and suddenly at late-night meetings she'd never mentioned before. The final proof was a hotel receipt I found in her car. The name on it wasn't mine. It was Is. The betrayal was a physical blow, a sharp, cold knife twisting in my chest. All those years, all those promises, shattered in an instant. I felt a storm of emotions, rage, heartbreak, and a profound sense of loss. But beneath it all, a different feeling began to surface. A cold, calculated desire for justice. They had destroyed my family, my trust, and my sense of self. I decided they wouldn't get away with it. This wasn't just about pain anymore. It was about taking back control. My first step was to gather undeniable evidence. I needed more than just a receipt. I needed something that would leave no room for doubt or excuses. I installed monitoring software on our shared home computer, the one she often used. It wasn't long before the evidence started pouring in. Emails filled with sweet nothings, plans for their next secret rendezvous, and intimate photos they'd exchanged. Each file I saved was like a piece of a puzzle, forming a disgusting picture of their affair. I also hired a private investigator to document their meetings. He was a professional, discreet and efficient. He provided me with time-stamped photos of them meeting at secluded parks, kissing in his car, and entering that same hotel together. Looking at those pictures, my heart ached, but my resolve hardened. This wasn't just about confirming my suspicions anymore. This was about building an airtight case, one that would make it impossible for them to deny what they had done. Every piece of evidence was another brick in the wall I was building around them. With a folder full of irrefutable proof, my next target was the teacher. His position of trust and authority was something he had grossly abused. A teacher sleeping with a student's parent is a massive ethical breach, and I knew the school board would take it very seriously. I drafted a formal, detailed complaint, attaching copies of the emails, text messages, and the photos from the private investigator. I laid out the timeline of the affair, emphasizing his professional misconduct and the emotional distress it was causing my family, especially my son, who was his student. I sent the package anonymously to the school superintendent, the principal, and every single member of the school board. I wanted to make sure it couldn't be swept under the rug. I then took it a step further. I created an anonymous email account and sent a summary of the situation, along with a few key pieces of evidence, to a local investigative journalist known for exposing misconduct in the community. The fuse was lit. It was only a matter of time before the explosion. The fallout was swift and spectacular. The school board launched an immediate, internal investigation. With the evidence I provided, the teacher had no defense. He was suspended immediately, pending a formal hearing. The local news, tipped off by my anonymous email, picked up the story. It wasn't front-page news, but it was a significant local story. Local teacher suspended amid allegations of inappropriate relationship with student S parent. His name and picture were everywhere. Parents in the community were outraged. The Parent-Teacher Association was in an uproar. His professional life was imploding. The school board, under immense pressure from the public and the media, AD. No choice. After a brief hearing where he reportedly broke down and confessed, he was fired. His teaching license was revoked. His career, the one he had built over decades, was over. He was a pariah in the town we all lived in. Justice, for one of them, had been served. It was a cold, hollow victory, but a victory nonetheless. Now, it was time to confront my wife. I waited for a quiet evening after our son was asleep. I laid a single photos on the coffee table in front of her. A picture of her and the teacher kissing, taken by the PA. Her face went pale. The denial was weak, pathetic. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered. But then I laid out the rest of the photos, the printed emails, the hotel receipts. The entire sordid story was right there in front of her. The color drained from her face as she realized the extent of what I knew. There was no escape, no lie that could save her. I told her calmly that I had filed for divorce. I explained that I had already sent all the evidence to the school board and that her lover's career was already in ruins. She started to cry, begging for forgiveness, saying it was a mistake. But her tears meant nothing to me now. They were just salt in a wound she had inflicted. The trust was gone, incinerated by her betrayal. The divorce proceedings were brutal, but I held all the cards. Her infidelity was documented, and her affair had become a local scandal. The story had spread through our social circles like wildfire. Her friends, the other parents from school, the neighbors, they all knew. The whispers followed her everywhere she went. She became a social outcast. People who used to greet her with warm smiles now crossed the street to avoid her. Her reputation was in tatters, destroyed by her own actions. In the divorce settlement, the judge took her affair into consideration. I was granted full custody of our son, and she received a significantly smaller portion of our assets due to the moral character clause in our state's laws. She had lost her husband, her home, her friends, and her standing in the community. She was left with nothing but the consequences of her choices. Looking back, the path of revenge was a dark and lonely one. It didn't magically heal the pain of betrayal, but it gave me a sense of closure, a feeling that justice had been served. My main focus now is my son. Protecting him from the fallout has been my top priority. We've had some tough conversations, and we're both in therapy to help us navigate this new reality. Rebuilding our lives is a slow process, but we're doing it together. Thanks for listening to my story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.